welcome to Talks with Tania, and also welcome back to my YouTube channel. Of course, I'm Tania, and today in this YouTube video, we're going to be talking about something just a little differently. It's a little something that I mentioned in my last YouTube video. So, what I mentioned is that I have something called social anxiety. So, in this YouTube video, I'm going to be giving you guys a rundown of what it is, how does it affect you, how does it feel like, what do I feel like when I go through it, and yeah, so let's go ahead and get right onto it. But wait, stop right there. I'm gonna give you guys a little disclaimer. I'm not a doctor at all, nowhere near a doctor. This is just an education video, basically just me explaining to you what it is, how does it feel like I said before. But if you do feel like you do share the same symptoms as me or share the symptoms that I mentioned in this video, I definitely recommend talking to a doctor about it. And yeah, so now let's get on with the video. Alright, so basically in my last YouTube video, I did basically section by section of what I was going to be talking about and what I was going to be going over. So I'm going to do the same with this video. So the first thing I'm going to be going over is what even is social anxiety, and basically give you the rundown of that. The second thing I'm going to be going over is how does social anxiety affect you physically, mentally, emotionally, and yeah. In my third section, I'm going to be giving you guys a rundown of what's the difference between a social anxiety person and an introvert or a shy person. And last but not least, in my fourth section, I'm basically going to be giving you guys a rundown of how you can overcome social anxiety and basically just give you guys tips and tricks. But let's go ahead and get right onto it. So to go ahead and start it off, what even is social anxiety? So simply, social anxiety is a chronic mental health condition in which conversations or interactions cause irrational anxiety. Doesn't sound fun, right? No. So, to add on more to that, let me go ahead and grab my handy dandy phone. For people with social anxiety disorder, everyday social interactions cause irrational anxiety, fear, self-consciousness, and embarrassment. Now, how does social anxiety feel like? It's basically worrying about embarrassing yourself or humiliating yourself, or basically intense fear about having conversations with strangers, and basically fearing that your anxiety is like showing, like everybody can see it, the whole world can see it, like basically a fear of everything when it comes to talking. So basically that was the Google version of what social anxiety is, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys how it feels to me or what it is to me. So social anxiety is like this overriding anxiety that I get almost every single day when it comes to conversations or talking to people. It don't matter how old you are, who you are, it doesn't matter. Like, I just try to avoid conversations as much as possible. But also, as much as I do it for every single day, I do try to challenge myself and do different things like starting a YouTube video to make it better or overcome it. Now, while I'm talking about how it feels, let's go ahead and get to the second topic. Basically, how does social anxiety affect you mentally, emotionally, and physically? So let's go ahead and get right onto it. So let's go ahead and start off with emotional. Like I said before, is constant fear of having social interactions with people, constant replay of social interactions that you had. It don't matter how far it was. It could be a minute ago, 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago, a long time ago. Just constant replays about what you could have said, what you did say. Heavy anxiety about future events. So you're basically thinking about what you're going to talk about if somebody talks to you. What are you going to say? You're all thinking about it before the event. And fear of embarrassing yourself. That's probably one of the biggest things about social anxiety, is fearing that you're going to embarrass yourself. So with that comes with a lot of overthinking and just a lot of not so good stuff. Now let's go ahead and get right on to the physical stuff. How you feel physically when you're going through social anxiety. So a lot of people feel when they're going through social anxiety is maybe trembling, shaking, sweaty, dizziness, and definitely a shaky voice. That's what I go through personally when I'm going through social anxiety. I definitely have a shaky voice because most of the time I don't want to talk, but I force myself to talk. And then when I do talk, it results in a shaky voice. We're gonna go ahead and move right on to mentally, how you feel about mentally. And I'm gonna pull out my handy dandy phone for this too, because you guys are gonna see the same thing. So basically, you have trouble speaking. So, like I said, a shaky voice. You have fear of judgment. So, you have fear of people judging you, and basically, you think about what people think about you all the time. Excessive worry about appearance. So, that's basically a big focus on how you're standing, how your arms look, how your legs look, how everything looks, how your face looks, everything. And then you have fear of humiliation, self-judgment, and fear of being boring. Those three are definitely something that you think about when you're going through social anxiety, or you're at an event or something like that. You just fear that you're just perfect and not notice that you're going through anxiety right now. And while I'm finishing up mentally, I'm going to go ahead and add on avoidance too. So, avoidance is a huge toll in social anxiety. So, basically, you avoid events, you avoid outings, you avoid anything that has to deal with you leaving out your house. Another thing is canceling outings. So, canceling events, canceling like outings with your friends, canceling everything because you overthink so much about it and you fear for it that you don't even want to go anymore. That's another huge toll when it comes to social anxiety. So let's go ahead and get right on to the third topic. Basically, what's the difference between an introverted person or a shy person and social anxiety? So let's go ahead and get right onto it. Now, I got my handy dandy phone for this because I'm going to be reading off the exact same thing that you're going to see on your screen, either on my left or my right side. So let's go ahead and begin. So I got this off of Instagram. Her @ is Caroline Rubenstein, PhD. She is a anxiety and burnout psychologist. If you want to check her out, you can. She's a good psychologist. Her account is nice. So let's begin. So an introvert often has lower social battery, prefers interacting in smaller doses, easily picks and chooses what events they attend, a personality trait or a part of an individual, and recharges when alone. Now, a person with social anxiety feels anxious in groups of people, worry about being judged or humiliated, difficulty with decisions related with social situations, develops develops from negative experiences, and tends to overthink when alone. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the difference between shyness and social anxiety. Like I said, I will read it off my phone and I will pop it up on either on my left or my right side. So let's go ahead and begin. So shyness may disappear when one gets used to an unfamiliar place or unfamiliar people. Shy people are more optimistic and are not as self-critical as those suffering from social anxiety, and does not need medical intervention. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but you get what I mean. Now let's go ahead and move on to the right side. A person with social anxiety may either remain unchanged or get worsened, even if the place and people become familiar. People affected by social anxiety are usually pessimistic and tend to overanalyze simple situations and does need a doctor. Now, another disclaimer. Just because I'm reading the difference between a person that's introverted or shy and a person with social anxiety, I'm definitely not saying that a shy person can't have the same issues as a person with social anxiety. I'm just stating that social anxiety is a bigger issue and definitely more harder to work with. Alright, so now that I got that out of the way, my fourth topic is basically going to be giving you guys tips or ways on how you can overcome social anxiety. So let's go ahead and get right onto it. Okay, so one way that helps me get over my social anxiety a little bit is the fact that I work somewhere that I have to talk to guests all the time. I don't have a choice not to talk. I always have to talk. I always have to talk to kids. I always have to talk to parents. Like, I always talk. So that's definitely one way that gets me over social anxiety, or helps me through it. Because I have to talk. Another thing that can get you through social anxiety is what I'm doing right now. So maybe making YouTube videos, or maybe just make YouTube videos just talking just to talk, whatever you want to talk about, or maybe making TikToks, that'll help too. And yeah, another way that can help you is maybe start going out by yourself, like in public, where you don't have anybody else that can talk for you. You're the only person that can talk for yourself. That definitely helps you. And also, when you talk, have a good demeanor, look confident. And when you look confident, that let others know, like, hey, she's a nice person, she knows what she's doing, and that'll help the conversation go by way more smoother than you think. And the last thing I'll definitely say is celebrate small victories. It don't matter what it is. It don't matter if you pulled up at the local Taco Bell and you ordered your own food, or you walking your dog and somebody walk past you and say hey, you say hey back. It don't matter what it is. Celebrate every social interaction you have, because if you celebrate yourself, that makes it better. That makes everything better. So to basically sum up this video with Oreo, I went over the 4 things. So what is social anxiety? How does it affect you mentally, emotionally, and physically? What's the difference between an introvert or a shy person and social anxiety? And how to overcome it. If this video definitely helped you, comment down below, like and subscribe. And yeah. Oh gosh, Oreo wants to say bye to you guys. Alright, see you guys soon.